Hey, welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Unstoppable Singer. I'm your host, Danielle Tucker. I'm a singer, a vocal coach. I'm a lead singer with the Mighty Untouchables band. I produced and hosted the Pandemic Proof Singer Summit 1 and 2, and now I'm producing and hosting the Unstoppable Singer. And the Unstoppable Singer is a live interview style show where I follow the lives of real life professional singers. And these singers have made some incredible accomplishments, achievements in their lives and careers. And we cover everything from voice work, making money, booking gigs, songwriting, recording, session work, and more. So we just kind of pull back the curtain and take a look at what their lives are like and what the industry is like. And with everything that we've been through in the past 2 years, we do strongly focus on going from surviving to thriving. We're working on safeguarding our careers and building strong bodies, minds, and open hearts. So, if this sounds like something for you, stick around because I'm about to introduce you to my wonderful guest tonight. It's Melody Ebner. Melody is a hardworking, self-motivated musician born and raised in San Diego, California. And as a professional musician, singer, and music educator, Melody's approach to music comes from a place of personal and field experience throughout her life, whether it be as part of numerous academic choir ensembles, performing her own compositions, or singing for corporate events such as weddings, parties, or outdoor concerts. Music has provided Melody with opportunities to expand and enrich her life. She has worked diligently since childhood to further her musical education, and she has honed her skills in such a way that her versatile sound provides many opportunities, be it pop, country, or jazz. Her soul shines through to each genre in a unique and distinct way. Currently, she is part of multiple groups, including a country band, a wedding band, as well as performing solo with her guitar. So without further ado, let us bring her on. Melody,
Hi.
how are
Yay.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. It's so good to see you. I'm so glad we're finally connecting.
I know this is long overdue, so I'm
Yes,
glad
yes.
to see you.
Glad to see you too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been so long since I've seen you. I think the last time that I saw you would have been you and I did a show at Viejas years
Oh yeah.
ago,
Oh
Dream Girls show with,
yes.
yeah.
I was just talking about that Dreamgirls show the other day and
Uh-huh.
how fun it was. And so
It
that's
was.
yes, so long ago.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
must have been 5 to 7 years ago, more than
Yeah,
that.
at least,
Yeah.
I know, and I always talk about it too because it's one of those, like, really rare opportunities that we all, like, know each other in one way or another here
Yeah.
in San Diego, if we've subbed in each other's bands or done various projects together, but this was a project where, like, a whole bunch of female singers in San Diego were involved in this, and
Yeah.
we'd rotate nights, and there'd at least be 3
Mhm.
of us there at a time, and it was so fun.
It was so fun. It was like you said, it was the one opportunity that we all kind of got to get together and do something together like that that was really
Yeah.
just vocal heavy
Yes.
and like just dominated by women. And it was
Yeah,
rad. I miss that. I miss that.
I do too. Tons of
Yeah.
harmonies, costumes,
Yeah.
the works. It was
The
awesome.
dancing.
Right.
And the rehearsals were so fun too. Like just getting together with the girls
Yeah.
and oh, the days.
Yeah. I know. Those were the days, but
Yeah.
it's great to see you again, and I know you've been up to quite a lot of other things since then, and it's been really cool, like, watching your journey, through the socials and everything that you've done. So I wanna talk all about that stuff, but
All right.
why don't we kind of kick things off by if you could give us the kind of 2021 recap? How did things go for you? What were you up to? And how has 2022 started out for you?
Oh man. So I think about the beginning of the pandemic, and I think like a lot of people, obviously it was scary and unpredictable, but it was also like this moment for me to just pause and reflect. And I really was grateful for the fact that I lived at home with my parents. So I was
Mhm.
really able to kind of just relax a little bit and have them, which was nice. I wasn't alone. And
Yeah.
my parents, they're like really cool to be around. So for me, I always had them kind of there by my side, which was nice.
Mhm.
But it was like I kind of just lost like all motivation. Like I was like,
Mhm.
I don't even know what to do. And I kind of felt a little lost with I had a lot of friends that were just on it from the beginning, like, oh, here we go. We're live streaming,
Mhm.
we're doing these things. And I felt like that wasn't something I was good at. So I kind of just had to like do some inward soul searching as to like what is music gonna be for me now
Mhm.
and what am I gonna do? So I wrote a
Mhm.
lot of music that I don't know if I'll ever really share,
Mhm.
but it was good for me and my soul. And I just sat in my room and played guitar and like kind of just tried to really fall in love with music again because I know before the pandemic, it got how do I say, I love my job, but sometimes it's very monotonous doing
Mhm.
these same songs for weddings over and over again and these same things that just kind of repeat. So I felt like I got a chance to kind of pause and just really remember what I love about music.
Yeah.
So I didn't do a whole lot over the pandemic, which was crazy because then once things started up again, all of a sudden I was so used to just a clear schedule. And then it was like, boom, we're jumping right back in and I'm gigging again and I'm doing this mad dash from one gig to the other. And it was kind of like crazy. And I had to remember, like, oh, didn't I just tell myself that I'm grateful for the pause? And here I am just like
Yeah.
jumping in again, you know? So it's been, I think I'm still just really trying to find that balance.
Yeah.
What that means, I don't quite know, but I'm remembering to pause throughout this whole thing and take time for myself to breathe and to be creative and have those creative outlets and remember that there's a time for money for, my finances in my pocket, and then there's a time, or sorry, music for
Mhm.
money, finances, and then there's a time for music for me and for just loving music.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of been my journey in a nutshell, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, just really trying to find the balance because I did kind of lose that motivation a little bit. But at the same time, throughout the pandemic, I was getting my teaching credential.
Right. Yeah.
So I was also kind of happy that I was able to really focus on school because doing my credential and gigging full time would have been just like, I would have been a
Mm.
mess.
Yeah.
So I was kind of grateful that I was still focused on something and keeping my mind active that way because I went to
Mhm.
school for music education. So at least there was still some music happening.
Yeah.
But definitely just had to like pause and remember how to be creative.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? That is so common. I'm hearing so much of that now that, we so many of us were in that mode of like yeah, we're taking everything, we're doing everything, the schedule, the fuller the better, the more
Yeah.
that you could have going on, and you just kind of grow accustomed to that kind of a lifestyle and that kind of a pace. And then to throw the brakes on that so quickly, it was kind of a nice break,
It
and I mean,
was for a
at least
minute.
for the first couple months
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. I think all
But,
of us were like, oh, this is only going to be a couple weeks.
yeah,
So it felt like, oh, I could take a little break.
yeah,
And I was like,
definitely. I
wait a
felt that
minute,
way too, for sure.
this is going on. Like,
Yeah, I know, and then it built up all this anticipation for the next year, thinking like, "Yeah, things are gonna come back, it's gonna be awesome. I have this whole new, outlook on life.
yeah,
I'm gonna be, totally balanced and, you know,
yeah.
a
I
new
feel
a new
fresh.
person."
Yeah.
Exactly. But then a
Yep.
million trillion gigs come rolling in, and you're like, "What the crap am I doing?"
Yeah.
I feel like I couldn't mentally or physically keep up with it and felt like kind of a train wreck for a little while.
Yeah. Felt like I was drowning there for a minute. Cause
Mhm.
like, you do Mighty Untouchables. So like everybody who was having weddings, they all got postponed.
Right.
And so it was like, oh my gosh, all these weddings are now just happening back to back to back to back
Yeah.
when things start opening up again. Like, so it was
Mhm.
just kind of daunting. Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, to go from everything all at once then to nothing and then
Mhm.
just boom right back in it was a little bizarre, I guess, jarring.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say you're doing about it now? Are you, are you making your decisions differently on what you will accept and what you won't accept, or
I
are
am.
you still in the process of figuring this out?
I mean, I think I'm still in the process of figuring it out, but I've definitely said no to some things just based on looking at my schedule and knowing like that day I'm gonna just need to rest. Like I need
Mhm.
to take a mental health break, and I'm planning that day. So if you ask me to do a gig on that day, I'm just gonna say
Mhm.
no. And
Yeah.
there's the exceptions of like, oh well, if it's okay, you tell me it's this much and I need the money, like okay, I'll plan another mental health day. But I know I need to take these little breaks. So I'm definitely trying to schedule things differently and just make sure that throughout my week, I have these little times for myself.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
and obviously it doesn't always work out. Like you said, I'm still figuring it out.
Mhm.
But for the most part, I've been trying to plan ahead for myself.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And I totally know what you mean about how in our particular channel of music, doing covers and doing like these types of events and everything, it is essentially like the same show over and over and over again, or the
Mhm.
same like repertoire over and over and over again. And it at some points really kind of becomes a little bit of a grinder. It just becomes like you kind of go into this like just automatic machine mode sometimes. And that's not to say that it's not enjoyable, but I don't know, you're just not fully present. You're thinking about like, am I getting a burrito on the way home
Right.
tonight? Or
Yeah.
what am I doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do
Exactly.
you think after taking, this big pause, are you showing up differently for the gigs now? Or do you kind of feel the same? Or does it have a different feel to you now?
It definitely has a different feel.
Yeah.
I think I've tried to look at them differently, um, like how we kind of say, like, yeah, it's the same show over and over again. But I'm a little bit more grateful for these shows now, and like I definitely go into them more excited that
Yeah.
we're doing this again and that we get to do this and that this is our job and how cool of a job is this. I mean, at the end of the day, I get to see someone's happiest day, like
Mhm.
they're getting married or they're having this amazing birthday party or this big event for their work, and it's like they're all having so much fun. And just to pause and be like, this is my job, is just to see people have fun all night and be part of that fun and make it happen for them. And that's a really awesome experience. So to go into it like that and I'll be like, this is my job, I
Mhm.
never feel like that, which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So I'm always just really stoked to be there. And I think that's a different before the pandemic, there were some days where I was just kind of going through the motions.
Mhm.
So this has definitely made me look at things a little differently, for sure.
Yeah.
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 I don't know
I
if
hear
it's
that
the same
for
for
sure.
you, but
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, I think for me too, I'm super excited to see everybody in the band a lot more.
yeah,
You know,
same.
I
Like,
look
oh
forward to
my gosh,
seeing
all my
them and
friends.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
We had to go without that like, extension of our family for so long that, I have a whole new appreciation for them as well.
me too. I
Yeah.
think like the first few gigs, like just kind of getting back into it, I was so excited to see everybody that
Mhm.
I had like the best time at all the gigs that we did. It was just like the happiest person. And then I don't
Mhm.
know if this happened to you, but I would get hit so hard with like the post-show blues.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I go
Yeah.
home and I'm like, "So that's it? My 1 gig a week, and I don't get to see
Mhm.
my friends anymore? Like,
Yeah.
what is this?" And so that was, like, kind of another thing I had to realize was happening was like, "Oh, man, I'm so happy," and, like, I'm up here when I'm on the gig, and then I get home and I'm, like, back down here.
Yep.
My energy level and, like so that was kind of an adjustment too because I
Mm.
was, like, giving all my happiness, and then I was like, "Oh, man, I don't get to see these people again for, like, another couple weeks because gigs were
Yeah.
kinda sparse.
Mhm.
So that was, like, another thing I had to kind of realize was happening and overcome a little bit, just getting
Mhm.
back into everything, but now it's like we're back like, we're fully back,
Yeah. Yes.
So I get to see
Yeah.
everybody, and I'm just constantly happy to work with everyone. It's like,
Yeah.
"Yay."
Yeah, I know, I love it. So
Yeah.
I'm so grateful too. It's just I think I still kinda live in this awkward space of like, you just never know what's gonna happen now at this point. I'm a little, like, reluctant to, depend too much on, what I once thought was like rock solid, steady for life. But, that might be a good place to be actually, because it kind of makes me be a little bit more present, a little more grateful for what I have like right now in this moment. So,
Yeah. No, exactly. I
yeah.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that.
So I would love to back up and just kind of go back to your roots and how you got started singing. Are you coming from a musical family? I know the answer to this,
Yeah.
but you tell us about that. And what's
Yeah.
your journey been like?
So I did grow up in a musical family. My dad is a trumpet player, and he's the trumpet player of Euphoria Brass Band. You've gigged with my dad. I grew up with Mike Holguin. My dad is a music educator too. So growing up, he was always teaching in different schools, and I'd go with him. And I was always doing band, and I played drums for 7 years, and so I got to work with Mike a little bit growing up, and then my mom is she sings also. She's a beautiful singer, and she's one of the station managers of Jazz 88. So lots of music in my family growing up. It was just music, music, music all the time. And because of that, I've always just loved music, So I've always loved to sing. And I guess if I'm thinking about it, I've always my parents got me a swing set when I was little, and I would spend hours on the swing set just making up random songs. And they're like, where is she getting, I'm like 7 years old singing about like deep love and
Yes.
like all these things. Are like, where is she getting this? Like, she doesn't know what love is. So that's kind of when I started writing songs. So like fourth grade, we had like this big project of like, do something you love. And I made a whole CD. My dad took me to Barry for our senior's house, and he recorded
Wow.
a CD. Yeah. So I have like this little CD from fourth grade of just all these a cappella love songs that I wrote, and just silly. But then, so I was in choirs all through high school and college a little bit, community college, but I wasn't really doing anything with music. I started working at a bar when I turned 18, and I worked there till I was 23. And the bar was downstairs, and there was this restaurant upstairs. And do you know Sydney?
Yeah.
Singer? Yeah. Sydney sang with like Louis, and Omar and Fern on drums, and they would perform like a couple nights a week in this bar upstairs from my bar. And I was the hostess, so I would stand outside all night and just try to get people inside and wrangle them in. And I would hear them performing all night, and I would be singing outside, and their doors were open, so they could kind of hear me singing like really loud and probably annoying. And they were like, you know what? Why don't you come in and sing a song with us? I was like, I would love that. So that became like a thing. Every time they performed, I would leave my little post, and I would go and I'd sing a song with them. And I just kind of became friends with them through that. And I was feeling like, what, I want to do more with music. I don't know how to get into this world. Even though my dad is a musician, I don't want to rely on him. I want to find it on my own. And so I put out a big like Facebook post. I was like, I'm tired of working at the bar, and I miss music, and I want to do more than just choir. And Omar messaged me back, and he was like, hey, I know this band that's looking for singers, and it doesn't matter if you're green, like they'll work with you. And it was Chris Lee, and he was starting up Caliphonics.
Yeah.
So that was the first band I joined, and it was great. And I learned so much from them, and I'm still performing with them a little under a different name, Mockery Music. But that was like my intro, and it was so random that Omar like picked up on my Facebook post and reached out with a job like within like 10 minutes of me posting. So it was just crazy. And ever since then, I've just been doing my thing with different bands and figuring out the music scene and networking and making more friends. And it's just been a continuous ride ever since then. So thank God for Facebook and for the random friends that you meet in places that pick up on things. And it was all just kind of the universe's way of getting me into it. And that's how I started. So yeah. And I want to say that was 7 or 8 years ago. So I must have been 23.
Okay.
About 7 years ago.
Gosh, I just wouldn't have guessed that, um, that you hadn't been in like longer doing this, you know?
No,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
so great. You're so great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm curious to know. So you do some songwriting and everything. So you kind of have this like, little catalog of your own stuff.
Yeah.
At some point, as singers, we make a choice what direction we're going to take it in. Some of us go down that artist route, do all original
Mhm.
music, and just totally devote all of our time and energy to building that career. And it really does take all of you to do that.
Yeah.
Then there's others of us who go down the working singer career, which
Mhm.
is, gigging and doing lots of covers, doing events, basically work for hire type singing,
Right.
which is great. And many of us don't even know that this channel exists when we're young. We just assume getting into music is going to be this, trying to get a record deal.
Yeah.
But although there are some who manage to do both at the same
Both.
time. Why do you think you chose to go one path or the other, or do you kind of feel like you're somewhere in the middle there?
Well, currently, I'm definitely the working singer. But the goal, I think, for myself would be to start putting out some original content.
Mm-hmm.
Like I kind of said earlier, I think there's a time and place for what you have to do for yourself. And then there's like for working wise. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's the time and place to be creative and feed your soul. So to feed your dinner table and then to feed your soul.
Mm-hmm.
So I've definitely been focusing more on the career side of it all. But that has, it's been very rewarding and I love it so much. But there's definitely times when I really miss just singing my own songs and being creative. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's been pushed to the side for a long time for me. So I think my ultimate goal would be to get back on track with some of my original stuff, kind of get back in touch with that side of myself.
Mm-hmm.
But it's such a vulnerable place to be and it's really scary. And
Yeah.
so I'm definitely working myself up to that. I'm not quite there yet. I
Yeah.
want to be, though. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So I think for me, working has always been a thing. I've worked since I was 14 with a work permit, and that's just how it is for me. So I've always had that mentality of like, I have to have some kind of job. I have to be hard, go out there and work hard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the career singing for these weddings and parties and stuff has really come into play for me.
Yeah.
But I do want to get back in touch with that other side. And I commend like Lauren Lee
Oh
Kilmer.
yeah.
Like I look up, I like everything she does to me is just gold. And
Mm-hmm.
I aspire so much to be as creative as she's been. Like she's just
Mm-hmm.
putting out so much music and fulfilling her soul but also working so much. She's doing both. And that is like, oh my, like that's like my goal for sure.
Mm-hmm. She's a really great example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's a
I
perfect
know
like
what you mean.
Whitney too.
Yeah. Whitney, Rebecca,
Mhm.
some really great examples of that. Yeah, it's I totally get that. I think that that's probably a point at which many of us kind of make that decision, is that when you realize at some point that you can make an actual living, doing something that you love so much,
Yeah.
um that it's hard to turn away from that.
Mhm.
But it's not such a bad order to take things in, because if you consider all the experience that you've had performing live now, all the different genres of music you've sung, all the different artists, all the different ensembles that you've worked in, all this time, it's developing you as the artist that you want to become, and
Yeah.
it's probably, informed and inspired, so much of your creativity, that it's not a bad way to plan things.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely have found with each little thing that I do, there's more shaping of my voice. I
Mhm.
keep feeling like I'm getting better and better with time and with the projects that I work on. So I think once I'm in that right spot, I'll really figure out what my sound is, and
Mm-hmm.
that will help me to start putting music out there the way I want to put music out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does. It helps you discover so many dimensions of your voice that you didn't really even know, that you
Yeah.
had. We kind of grow up singing whatever you like or whatever feels good to you. But then when you're kind of um, not pressured, but you're assigned
Uh-huh.
certain things to
Yes.
sing, you're like,
Assigned.
well, I guess,
Yeah.
I mean, a good example is I do the all the little Michael Jackson stuff in our band,
Oh,
which is
wow.
not something that I would have ever, I don't know, I would have never if I had to choose a cover to sing, it would not have been, Jackson 5 stuff,
Yeah.
but it was out of necessity doing it, and I discovered this whole different place of my voice, and I was like, "Wow, this is weird, but kinda cool,"
Yeah.
And, I don't know if I'll ever do anything else with it, but, I think if we can just always kinda, like, frame the work that we're doing in that way where, we're developing, we're still growing as
Mhm.
vocalists, and you just never know what's gonna spin out of something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
That reminds me the other night, and I'm sure you've had to probably do this one. I was assigned a song for a wedding. It was their last dance, and it was This Will Be.
Oh, Lord,
Oh
yeah.
my. Yeah. Oh Lord. Yeah.
Mhm.
Singing that, I found places in my voice that I have not had to sing. I haven't had to feel those places in a long time.
Yeah.
So singing songs like that are so out of your comfort level just kind of remind you what you can do, you
Yeah.
know? It's like,
Mhm.
whoa, I did not know that was in me, but there it is. So
Yeah. That's fun.
sometimes when you sing those songs that are just completely like you would have never picked them, it's like, whoa,
Mhm.
there it is.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
So you're involved in quite a few projects right now. It looks like you have a lot going on. So tell me about the various groups that you're working in right now.
I'm in quite a few. I have, so my main kind of the wedding band and stuff, that's mockery music. That's with Chris Lee. And I don't know if you know Zoe Jones, she does piano, and the Dow brothers, Ken and Kevin Dow. That's super fun. So we do a lot of different events around San Diego. And then I'm also in a country band.
Mhm.
And that is like my travel kind of they take us to a lot of different places. So
Mhm.
that's a fun group to be in because I never would have thought that I would be singing country and enjoying it. That was
Uh-huh.
never a genre that I grew up with. And so it's really fun. It's completely different and very it's been a really cool experience because like I said, we just get all these out of town gigs. So we're just constantly traveling. More so pre-pandemic. We've kind
Mhm.
of been like slow to come back to things, but we've been doing a lot of country bars here in San Diego, which has been fun. And then I have been working, I sub with a lot of different bands. So I sub with a few different pop bands. Um, and then I do my own thing. So I play guitar and I sing, and I have a residency. I actually share it with Lauren. So we switch
Okay.
off Thursdays at the wine pub,
Mhm.
and that's super fun because we just get to do whatever repertoire we want to do and sing originals if we want to sing originals. And they're just so open to like anything we bring to the table there, which
That's
is
nice.
it's really nice.
Mhm.
They let us do anything. They're like, take it away. We trust you. So sometimes I'll have friends come out and hop on and play a song with me, or we just play originals, it's really fun.
Mhm.
And then I've been doing like the music education thing too. So
Mm.
I got my credential. I'm taking the year off, but I'm still doing my private lessons. So I
Okay.
teach piano, and I have really, really little ones where we just do like very general music stuff. We bang on
Mhm.
drums and musical concepts like loud versus soft and, different things like that. And then I have a couple vocal students too. So elementary schoolers mostly. And then I'm also working at the zoo and the wild animal park doing some of the kids shows for them. So that's
Mhm.
been a really fun way to work during the week and keep up with just working with kids, so because I'm not doing the school right now.
Mhm.
So doing the zoo and the wild animal park has been a really big help for me to just stay in touch with kids and have fun working throughout the week. So
Mhm.
those are the projects that I'm involved in right now.
Yeah.
As well as like some little creative things here on the side with just some friends and jamming and
Yeah.
So I've
Yeah.
been trying to keep busy, trying to keep
Woo, you're
full
busy.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. I'm glad to know that you're such a kid person and that that's a part of your private teaching practice. Because I know in my own, I usually only work with teens and adults, and I get asked a lot about do you work with young children? And I knew this long ago that of course I started out working with young kids, but I quickly discovered that that's not my jam because I don't know. I'm too serious for like little kids. I
Yeah.
love children. I absolutely love them, but it really takes a special kind of person to keep things very playful and
Yeah.
to keep things to keep things at their level. And
Mhm.
it's I really think that that's a special gift to have and something really great to offer. They're just I don't hear too many teachers out there that have that kid magic that they can offer.
It's hard because we're serious singers. And so we want our young ones to take this seriously and to have that voice right away. And we have to remember that with young singers, it's not always about what their voice is. It's about, are they
Mhm.
having fun? Are they laughing throughout the lesson? And it's not going to be perfect because they're just developing. So it
Mhm.
has to be, you have to really meet them at their level. But
Yeah.
I think that's why I like it, because it's so challenging, is to figure out like each person's uniqueness and what they bring to it, and the different learning styles and how to
Mhm.
reach each kid. And one thing that works for this person is not going to work for this kid, even though they're only a year apart.
Yeah.
It's like fine. It's kind of like a big puzzle for me, is just figuring out learning styles and what's fun for kids and games, and just keeping them active and engaged and having fun through the whole lesson. Because if they're bored, that's like the downfall of
Yeah.
it all. So, and especially when you get them after a full day of school and
Mhm.
it's 4 o'clock and they've just come from soccer practice and they're tired and they don't want to sit there and like, what's a quarter note?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's finding these games that just keep them having a good time and they don't even know they're learning.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy doing that.
This is so great to know. I'm so happy to know this because I mean,
Yeah.
if a 7 or 8-year-old rolls in on me, I'm like, "Where do you wanna go with this? What is your what's your 5-year plan here?"
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
"Huh?"
Yeah. I mean, and there's definitely a time when I'm like, all right, you're ready. You're ready to
Yeah.
move onward. And if I can keep helping you, I will. But sometimes I recognize like you're ready for the more serious vocal coach now.
Mhm.
So there's always that too, which can
Yeah.
be,
Oh,
yeah.
that is great.
We can
You do
bounce
have
off of each other.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I would love that. That is it's great to know, and I can't believe how busy you are with so many groups, and I know that you um, took over my sub gig with
Oh
Rebecca
yeah.
at Seaside. That's right. So
Yes.
yeah, so
Yeah.
Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. Rebecca Jade
Wow.
is the music director there, and she's crazy busy and tours and everything. So when she is out of town on a gig or something, I would come in and sub for her, and did that for a long time. Love that community so
Yeah.
much. But then I got hired full time at another center up in
Yeah.
Temecula. So you stepped in and took the
Yes.
baton, and I'm so happy.
Yeah. So you're at the Temecula one. They're
Yes.
like
Mhm.
sister centers, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. And Rebecca was telling me about that. So yeah, so now I'm there whenever she goes on her amazing Sheila E tours.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm here. So, and that's been, oh my goodness, like you said, that community is just so welcoming and such a I leave there and it's just like a whole new outlook on my day and on my week, and it just feels good. It's a great great community to be a part of. So I'm
Yeah.
very grateful for that.
Yeah, it's extremely uplifting, and one of the things I love a lot about all the centers for spiritual living is that the emphasis on music and how much they appreciate music, and
Yeah.
it's a major factor in everything that they do. So,
Yeah. Everything they do has to have music at the center of it. It's
hmm
like, wow, it's really nice to be in a place where the musicians are so appreciated like that.
hmm yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, well, I love that, we've gotten to highlight all these different projects that you do, just gigs, teaching, and then when it comes to gigs, like all the different types, weddings, corporates, church work, doing just solo gigs. There's so many things, and I think it's really great for other singers who are kind of trying to get out there and maybe pursue a professional the professional side of it, or younger singers who are just getting into it. These just aren't the things that we're aware of as we're growing up as kids. We really do. I think we only kind of get that unless we have a parent who is a professional musician. you
Yeah.
know we always only have that concept of you're trying to get on the radio, you're trying to get
Yep.
an album made, but in actuality there are so many different facets to the business. And I mean, we've got professional choirs, we've got
No.
musical
Choir.
theater, like
Oh,
all the things.
I miss choir so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Choir is like has always been a big part of my life, and since leaving school, I haven't been doing choirs anymore. And that's another thing
Mhm.
where I'm like, I really want to join another choir and just kind of get back into it. It's really good for reading the music, keeping your skills sharp, and
Mhm.
man, just talking about it, I'm like, I miss choir.
I know. Yeah. But thank God for it, because we needed the harmony skills
Yeah,
stepping
yeah,
into a lot of
definitely.
these situations.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
There, it's great for learning your harmonies, that's for sure.
Mhm, mhm. And
Yeah.
outside of music, I love all your posts of you roller skating. What is that when did you start doing that?
I started during the pandemic. I was
You
like,
just started during the pandemic?
I just started during the pandemic. And it was like very quickly one of my favorite things that I've ever done in my whole
Wow.
life. It's like I feel like I'm flying. It's like the closest to flying that I'll ever get.
Mhm,
And it's so freeing. And it's one of the only things that I've really found enjoyment in just going out and doing by myself.
mhm,
I'm not like one of those people that is really comfortable doing things like I'm it's hard for me to get motivated. Like, I'm gonna go on a walk by myself. I'm gonna go
mhm,
do this by myself. So I felt really connected to this different side of myself when I roller skate, because I can just put on my skates and just go.
mhm.
And I go all kinds of different places. And it's been a really big experience. Plus, I've really good experience. Plus, I've met all these other people from this skate community that I would have never met before. And
Yeah.
so I've got my music community, and now I have all these skate friends that I know. And for me, that was interesting because it was something that I just really found all by myself. I just
Mhm.
had to go out there and just put on my big girl pants and say hi to people. And oh, that's a really cool move. How do you do that? And the next thing you know, you're in this circle where you're learning from other people. And do you know Corey Gillis? He's another singer around San Diego.
The name sounds, I
He
don't think I
does
personally know him, but
he does Republic of Music stuff.
okay, okay.
And he roller skates, and so we'll go and roller skate sometimes together. He's great. And so there's musicians around town that also roller skate too. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
Who
I would
knew?
have never known that this was like a thing. So that's
Yeah.
been really fun. I did break my elbow roller skating last February.
Oh, man.
So I was on a little hiatus,
Mhm.
but I'm all healed and I'm back to it. So, and wearing
Wow.
my pads now.
Oh, I'm glad you're back at
Yeah.
it. I love the videos.
Thank
I'm
you.
shocked to hear that this is like a new thing for you, because you look incredible doing
Thank
it. And you
you.
do, it just looks like it is just like second nature to you, so
Thank
natural.
you.
And just, just the way you move like you love it deep inside.
Thank
Definitely
you
like
so
a
much.
passion thing. I love to see
Really
that.
do love it. So I think that's one of the first things in a long time that I found that's not music that
Hmm.
I just latched onto hard. So it's been very different for me because usually when I do things like that, it's with music.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's been a whole different experience.
Yeah. Well, keep those videos coming. I
I
love
will.
them so much. Are you on TikTok?
I should be.
Oh my, I could totally see you like slaying roller skating videos on TikTok.
I wanted to, and I was just about to start doing that, and then my elbow happened.
Okay. Hmm.
So that was like I was about to be at my year of roller skating, like a full year
Hmm.
of roller skating, and then that happened. So I've just kind of been slowly getting back into it and a little more cautiously, but I still I still
Hmm.
crave it like all the time. I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to go skate right now. So I've been definitely a little more cautious, but getting back into it. So those TikToks are on the way.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
Talk about a pandemic life lesson though that so many of us learn though is that when you do when you are a musician or a creative, you kind of feel like you have this, most of us have this sense of like, oh, I was born to do this, this is what I do, and everything revolves around
Hmm.
music or your band or your projects and everything. And so um I think a lot of us found ourselves like, well, not sure what else I like to do.
Yeah.
What do I
They're like,
do?
what are your hobbies? And I'm like, music. But
Yeah,
that's
I don't
also my
know.
job. But that's also my hobbies. But I don't know what my hobbies are.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. We had to
and what's
discover a lot.
yeah, and what's crazy about it too is I put it in this box of like this is a pure hobby. I
Mhm.
love roller skating. It's just something I do on my own time. But I actually got a text the other day of a friend that was like, "Hey, do you want to make some money because we have this whole gig and they need two roller skaters to just host people and welcome them in and like do a couple spins and like." So then I'm over here like, "Wait a minute. I can make money with my roller skates." Like, so this is a whole other gig that I could have, and I never
Oh,
thought about it
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to like mix too many of my hobbies, I guess, with but it's good to know that that could be another avenue if I wanted to take it.
Yeah, it's a
So,
possibility.
yeah.
And those are the things too, when being in the corporate show band world, you know, as many different shows or themes or variety or extensions to the band um, that you can come up with, the better. And I mean, geez, you could add your own like roller skating team set
Yeah.
to your
Yeah.
to your gig.
I'm like, if I'm getting paid, they probably don't want me to wear my elbow pads though, and I'm a little freaked out.
Oh
But
yeah,
no, it's just interesting to think that that's like a whole other like there's people that do that,
yeah,
and I never even thought about it. So,
yeah. Now that I'm thinking of it too, we did a couple of years ago, we did a disco theme night, and it was for a corporate event planner had pulled everything together, so they had some different entertainment components going on, and they had a roller skating team that did like, they had choreographed dances to some of
yeah.
the disco stuff, and they did their thing while we played, and then they had their own little like show that they did to tracks and everything. So you know what, I should find out who that team was and send their
Yeah.
information your way. Never know.
Please do. Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah. Oh,
Very
awesome.
interested. I actually just played the Mustache Bash, which is like a big, huge 70s theme festival that they do every year on the Broadway Pier down by the
Mhm.
Midway. And I do it every year. And the past 2 years, obviously, with everything, it was all canceled. So this was like the first year back, and it was like bigger than ever. And they had a roller skating rink. And so they had some like hired roller skaters too to just go around the whole festival in like their 70s attire. And it just added to the whole theme of it all. And but it was just cool. It was like, wow, here's, you know, these ladies out here doing their thing. And that's a whole other avenue. And it was just really, it was rad to see like the mixture of just music everywhere and roller skaters. And it was cool. So it kind of reminded me of what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Um, before I neglect the comments over the comment section here, totally, let me jump over there and acknowledge everyone talking over here. Chuck Phillips, he's in the comments. Good evening, ladies.
Oh,
Melody,
hi.
please say hello to your folks for me.
I will. I will for
Good to,
sure.
good to see you here, Chuck. I'll be seeing
Yeah.
him this weekend on some more stuff.
Oh, nice.
And then let's see, I think this is Tim Moore up here earlier. He for some reason his name doesn't populate for me over here, but he's saying Helix Brewery is in need of good entertainment. You should both call them and send those elementary school singers to my open mic on Monday nights at Hennessy's. We need some exciting young singers. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
There's endless possibilities and things going on in San Diego. San Diego is such a great town for doing what we do. It's not widely known, but it really is.
It really is. It's
Mhm.
a big hub for music.
Yeah.
There's so many great musicians in San Diego too.
All such great people too. Very
Mhm.
lucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we kind of start to wrap things up, what do you have coming up that's exciting that you are looking forward to?
Oh, well, I forgot to mention one of my other projects that I do right now is a cabaret show
Oh
at
yes,
Vende
yes.
Syrah on the Gas Lamp. And I do
Mhm.
that with a couple other amazingly talented singers and dancers here in San Diego. So I do that with Cassie B and Tanya McKenna. My friend Joy does it. She's great. And there's a couple other, Whitney Shea does it with us.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you know, Victoria does it too. She used to gig with Republic of Music also. But we
Okay.
do that. We do that every Friday night. So if you want to come out to Vende Syrah, we'll be there every Friday night. It'll be some configuration. I'm not there this Friday because I'm going to be at Park and Rec. So
Okay.
if anybody wants to come to Park and Rec, I'll be there. I have some private things coming up, so not so many public things. I think Park and Rec's like the biggest public thing, and then Vinde Syrah on Friday nights. So, and
Awesome.
that's like a super fun show to come see. We just
Oh,
sing
I
and
bet.
dance, and yeah, really, really fun.
Yeah.
So that, and then I'm at the zoo or the zoo safari park, excuse me. I'm there every Monday and Wednesday. So if
Mhm.
you are all feeling like you want to take a trip to the safari park, come say hello to me. I'll be there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm trying to think of any like big, like quickly pulling up my calendar here. Sorry, excuse
That's
me.
okay.
I'm at the wine pub tomorrow night
Okay.
as well as next Thursday. So that's my just solo acoustic stuff.
Mhm.
And that's really cool too. It's just a beautiful little backyard area. It feels like the ambiance feels like just someone's backyard, which is really
Mhm.
intimate and nice to be in. So that's this Thursday and next Thursday,
Okay.
and 6:30 to 8:30. And yeah, then I have Rouge next week, the Vinde Syrah show. Everything else is a little bit private, I guess, for the month.
Mhm.
Check those shows out, come support, and yeah.
Great.
Kind
Awesome,
of a
Melody.
lot. I kind of just word vomited at you, but there
No,
it
I'm
is.
I'm glad to see that you've got some great work going on. I just posted up your
Oh, yay.
website in the comments. Is that where you kind of keep everybody up to speed on your
Yeah,
shows?
definitely. I have my whole calendar on there so you can all see my public shows and what's coming up next, as well as, some videos and some gallery things if anybody wanted to check that out.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
And
So
is
that's
and
where you
can
can find
people
me.
reach out to you about music lessons that way as well?
They can yeah, my email is on my website, so they can do that. They can also go to my Facebook because there's a link for my Facebook on there, and if they
Mhm.
wanted to message me on Facebook, that's also another great way to get a hold of me. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So
Okay.
that's kind of my there's like a page for music
Sorry.
education, and then there's the page for all the other music stuff that I do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sweet. It was so
Yeah.
good to talk to you.
I
Finally catch up
know,
with
so
you.
good. I know. It's like I said many times, it's been long overdue. I
Yeah.
miss seeing all the singers around San Diego, and we haven't really got a chance to work together yet, but
I know.
I hope
I know. I hope our
so.
paths will cross. And now that I know that you're up to speed on the Center for Spiritual Living thing too, I'd love to have you out to the Temecula Center
Yes,
as soon
please.
as we haven't been having guest artists as of yet after, reopening, but that's coming really soon. So I'd love
Yay.
to have you out there
Yes,
or even
please.
stand in for me sometime.
I know. Let me know. I'm going to be at the Spiritual Center in Encinitas pretty much the whole month of May also. So that's another way that people can come see me if they want to come out to the Spiritual Center and see some good music. I'll be there the whole month of May. So,
Cool.
yeah,
Excellent.
I know.
Wonderful. Again, it's so great to talk to you, catch up with you, see what
I
you're up to.
know.
I'll continue following you on the socials. I'll be looking forward to your roller skating videos on TikTok.
Yay. Yeah,
I love
coming
that I'm
soon.
pressuring you about that. I like never ever make a TikTok, but I spend plenty of time scrolling and wasting
Yep.
my time in there. So
Same, same. It's a trap,
it
but
is. I
I
love
fall
it
into
though.
it. So I might as well be making videos if I'm on it this much, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, and well, thank you to everyone also who
Yeah.
joined us tonight and for jumping into the comments. I will be back next week with another guest and we will see what they're up to. But take care, Melody. Again, I hope our paths cross really soon and good luck with all the gigs and projects.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me, Danielle. This was awesome.
Of
Thank you
course.
so much.
Yeah. Good
Yay.
night,
I'll
everyone.